When I was born, relatives told my mother, "This child is going to be a burden on you for the rest of your life. And what will happen after you're gone? Better if you tie the baby to a stone and throw it off the bridge." Over the past 18 years, as a representative of the Ability Foundation, I've heard this kind of sentiment from disabled achievers less and less. Disability Pride Month was in July 2024, and its poignant theme, "We want a life like yours," gave me cause to reflect. The Indian government's Persons with Disabilities Act of 1995 evolved into the Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act of 2016. Ability Foundation and other NGOs working in the sector have been so effective in bringing change at the government level that the societal change is gradually manifesting too. Relatives have become more understanding. Parents now have more support and options in coping with their unexpected life challenges. There's more awareness of the inherent abilities and disabilities in each one of us, of the possibility of disability manifesting in us or our dear ones. There's less pity and more respect for the disabled, their needs and capabilities, dreams and disappointments, rights and responsibilities. Emerging technologies have helped by enhancing communication and enabling senses to compensate for each other. The Indian Constitution is available in Braille today, as are flight safety cards and religious texts. More young people are learning sign language. Most spectacular of all is the success of disabled Indian athletes in the Paralympics, with the huge number of medals to India in 2024. The Indian government, by giving them every recognition and reward as given to those who achieve in the mainstream games, is the loudest possible proclamation of inclusion and equal rights. Looking back, I can see how my own understanding and appreciation of disability evolved. One of the first disabled achievers I interviewed on behalf of Ability Foundation was Rahul Deshmukh. A blind boy from an impoverished agricultural family in rural Maharashtra, Rahul excelled in academics. As a student, he helped other underprivileged boys in Pune to become independent and began imparting computer education to the visually impaired. This was way back in 2007. Rahul, I would realize in the years to come, is an extraordinary case of high intelligence and sheer determination, which gained him social skills, financial independence, love, marriage, and a happy family despite all the physical, emotional, and material benefits life had previously deprived him of. People with disabilities rely, of course, on the kindness and empathy of others. While family support, education, use of relevant technology are some of the environment factors in which most of us thrive, for PWDs, these are crucial. Above all, no matter what one's level of ability, is a positive attitude. Rahul simply overcame all his disadvantages. Then there's Zamir Dhale, not just blind but deaf too. I was anxious about how we would communicate and waited until he was settled at his workstation. He typed rapidly, answering emails, then opened a Word document, and to my astonishment, the words, "Hello Saaz, welcome," appeared on the screen, written by him. I replied, and we chatted on the document. I asked Zamir about his work and felt impressed with the way he explained it to me. And when he noticed me using capital letters, he started doing so too. Zamir is one of the deaf-blind people in India who are financially independent and even travel alone in public transport, facing the perils with the valor of medieval knights of yore. How could any overcrowded bus or train compartment, any nasty traffic snarl ever compare? Making this comparison reminds me of the time I writhed in pain from an ingrown toenail and writhed equally in mortification, having just returned from meeting Major Haripal Singh Ahluwalia. In 1965, Major Ahluwalia had scaled Mount Everest, and a few months later, when war broke out, took a bullet in the neck, which resulted in spinal injury. Though paralyzed, he continued to work, struggling at different levels, till he had set up the Indian Spinal Injury Center in 1996. Spinal injury is one of the most devastating and costly conditions to manage. People wake to physical, mental, and emotional trauma, their lives completely shattered. Spending time with Major Aluwalia and his team at their Center of Light and Hope, observing how patients are received and rehabilitated and start smiling spontaneously again, who would whine about an ingrown toenail? Then there was the lesson from Ross Hunter, head coach of England's visually impaired cricket team in India, to impart best practices to the Indian team on behalf of Mahantesh GK, visually disabled founder of the formidable Samarthanam. It was heartwarming to learn of Hunter's gratitude that when his British team played in Indore, it was in a stadium packed with 20,000 spectators, a heady delight they could never have anywhere in England. A classic demonstration of how each one of us contributes, perhaps in different ways, something to remain conscious of when dealing with or even thinking about PWDs. In December 2023, I spent a week in Delhi, meeting and getting to know quite a few wonderful achievers with disabilities on behalf of Ability Foundation. One of the most heartening things I learned was that today, every branch of every nationalized bank in our national capital has employees with disabilities. The ones we were privileged to meet were well and integrated, popular with their colleagues, and high performers. And we must step back and realize with satisfaction this is just the beginning. An early rollout of the rewards from the decades of efforts made by Ability Foundation and other dedicated Indian NGOs and activists. It was on that same trip that I met another disabled giant, Mallikarjuna Aitha, who founded and runs IDEA, described as an organization with a corporate mind and an NGO heart. And a phrase he used, reasonable accommodations, summed it up beautifully. Reasonable accommodations. Because ultimately that's all we really need to do, isn't it?